$100.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
Remember, he thinks he's a little kid. He's 14.
Beer.
I don't know about this. I mean, we don't have a fake ID.
Frankie, would you relax? Look at me. I am the fake ID. Go, go! Now! Come on! It's time to go! You want it up? All right!
This is your chance.
Oh, I told you. Come on, come on, come on! I can do this! Gentlemen, why use guns when we can handle this like real men?
Okay, baby.
Sorry.
Bullet immunity. You have bullet immunity.
Bulletproof.
Today is December 8th, and this is video proof of authenticity. Shoot him again.
Oh, yeah. Here. Go. Oh, yeah. Come on. Watch out.
Wait. We still don't know if the suit is bulletproof or if you shoot him in the face.
Shoot me in the back. In the face.
Ow.
It kind of tickles.
I love that part.
Sorry about your window. You're welcome. We're not getting robbed.
Wait, did he buy them or did he just take them?
To fight the bad guys.
Don't drink beer if you like it. Don't like it. What happened?
Having your jerky, if you eat enough of it, it can burn a hole in your stomach.
Alright, so from that video, what did you guys get about alcohol?
Tastes terrible.
Yeah.
What is it?
Even taste. They were gonna buy beer and then they bought non-alcoholic. I didn't know that.
Almost. Anyone else? What did you guys get from that video? Yes, the beer is gross, but what else? What else?
They're the finest in the
Nicole?
land.
They didn't know anything about it.
They didn't know anything about it, right? Okay. Any other? What else did you guys get from it? What was the first thing? Remember the first thing? What did he say? What did Shazam say to
Their
them?
finest beer.
Yeah, give me your finest beer. Right?
Your
Remember,
finest beer
he's
tastes
supposed to be
terrible.
14, right? So why is a 14-year-old wanting beer? Think about it. Why? Anyone else? Any ideas? Annie?
Maybe he wants to try out his appearance.
Okay.
Right
because
now?
why?
He looks like a grown man.
Okay, so he looks like a grown man, but he's actually 14. So what does it have to do with beer?
He wants to try it legally.
What?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, if he
anything
has
else?
the body of a man, wouldn't that like
Exactly. That's the question.
a big muscly man?
Any other thoughts?
Wow.
Nicole?
Big 14-year-old.
It's what the world does. Okay. In other words, it's what everyone else is doing, right? It's what he hears. It's what he sees. Okay. All right. Any other ideas? Okay. Keep that in mind. Okay. I'll show you another video, and we're gonna come back to it. Okay.
Another video.
Yeah. These are all beer commercials.
Oh, I love this guy. I love his commercials. Don't talk to her.
I'll give them.
Do not attempt swimming.
I don't recognize him.
All right, what do you get from that?
And we're showing.
Michelle?
Bunch of the
They
Avengers.
like say they're singing about
It's a Star
I like beer,
Yes,
but they never
Star
drink
Wars.
it.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Grace?
A lot of people like beer.
A lot of people like beer. Okay, Nathan?
Addicting. Ultra.
Addicting? Yeah, okay. Annie?
Never mind.
All right, never mind. Anyone else? Okay, keep that in mind. Yes, what Michelle said. What they were singing was, I like beer, okay? Eventually they drank it. That's what they want you to think. But just think about all the pictures you saw, like when they were singing it, was it just like a person by themselves sitting in a corner saying, I like beer? Or were they like with like a crowd of people? Right? Okay. So keep that in mind, okay? Because these commercials are trying to tell you something about beer. All
A lot
right?
of people like it.
Good for you.
Okay, last one, okay? And then we'll talk about it.
It's the same company.
At the studios, here around town, we see that like people that work out and then, like go to bar together. It's like a way to kind of break the ice and make new friends. When you're at a studio for an hour and a half, whatever it is, you make a lot of great friends and then you go out and you have a drink and like everyone's cool, So I feel like it's really good for kind of bringing the community together.
I really feel like the fitness community and all these little tiny communities within the fitness industry are bringing people together, and because you're suffering together within whatever fitness regimen you're doing, people will go out and want to hang out with the person because you guys have that common thing, that's suffering together.
When you go to the gym, you're looking for it to be one of the best hours of your day. It's de-stress, like everything that's happening outside of that arena is not even a factor. I think that was similar or is similar to what people go out socially for in bars. It's just a great community and a way for people to de-stress and just have a great moment of the day.
Okay, how about that one? What'd you guys get from it? Anything?
It's good.
It's good, okay. What else? Nathan?
Making you, it's just like the people. It's like they're addicted to the beer. It's just like they're just like doing stuff like, for example, like they're just like working out and just like whenever we get a break, drink beer.
Okay.
They're like that, addicted to beer.
So if you listen to what the guy was saying, he was saying that they work out together, so they spend a lot of time together, they have fun and stuff. But at the end of the day, what they do to relax is they go to the bar, they have a drink. They drink alcohol, beer in this case. Okay, so he's talking about this, you can say like community language, right? It's not just one person by themselves. Okay, so keep that one in mind. And then last one, but this one, you guys tell me about marijuana and vaping. What you know about it. What have you heard about it? Your friends, what you learn at school, whatever. Anyone? Let's give someone else a chance, Nathan. Annie?
People die from it.
Okay, is that pretty recent?
Yeah.
I've heard that as well.
And there are a lot of commercials about it.
Do you remember any of them?
This morning marks a new milestone for legal marijuana.
Sorry, go
There's
ahead.
a short one about a teen who's banging on the door saying, let me out. It said that marijuana and vaping is inescapable once you start it.
Interesting. Okay, Michelle?
There have been, last week, there were, 9 reported cases of marijuana, people dying of marijuana.
Uh-huh.
And, the symptoms were that they had trouble breathing because their lungs weren't functioning correctly.
And they were filled with smoke and stuff.
And that, their lungs, it was more easier to get lung cancer. And, their faces were, gray and, blue.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because they were running out of air.
All right. So a couple of the commercials and you said the news. But what about people at school? Does anyone talk about this stuff at school? Like your classmates, your friends, anybody? What do they say about it? Okay, Michelle, what do people say about it?
So last year in English class, we read an article about how bad vaping is. And I feel a lot of people, they said they tried vaping and they like it.
Uh-huh.
But
Wait, did they say that in class or after class?
in class,
What did your teacher say?
no, they were whispering.
Oh.
So.
I was like, I wonder what your teacher would say. Interesting. Nicole?
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's true,
But there were a lot of people said that there's one girl who was vaping in the hallways, and then she was running down the hallways high.
It's at your school?
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
She was running on the school and high.
Wait, who told you that? Another student or a teacher?
Well, student.
Eighth
Yeah,
grader?
students.
Eighth grader?
Does anyone know who she
What
is?
does it matter?
Yeah, like what's this one? Yeah.
So it actually happened?
I'm not completely sure about that one though, but
Okay. Justin?
One time I walked into the bathroom and smelled all minty.
You sure it wasn't the urinal?
No, it's definitely.
smell
It was
thing?
there was a bunch of like seniors drooling.
Was it smoky in there?
No, it was drooling. They were
It's not really
drooling.
Oh.
And like there another time I went to the bathroom, there were these posters in the bathroom.
Wait, recently? Just like this, since school started?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there were like actually I don't know how to explain it, but like there were fun, cool ways to say like drooling is bad, right? So like they basically just printed out a bunch of memes for drooling and said, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Nathan?
So like, one of my friends, he said like in China, there's this 5-year-old kid and like strangers gave him like cigarettes. They were like watermelon flavored and strawberry flavored.
Wait,
And the kid would take it.
Okay. That's in China, alright.
Only in China, kids.
Anything else from your friends? Maybe family? Anything? Anything else you've heard about marijuana or vaping in this case? Yeah, Michelle?
the guy who like started this vaping, like the most successful vaping company is Juul.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think he's like facing charges or something for like giving like kids like these.
He's facing what?
Charges against him. I don't know. He's like, I don't know.
What type of charges? Like
He's like, I don't know.
Fine.
How do you say it? He's not necessarily being fined though.
Uh-huh. Alright, well let's watch this video and it'll basically summarize what you guys said but show you guys something a little bit more as well, okay?
This morning, Mark.
This was November 2018, okay?
It's a new milestone for legal marijuana. Massachusetts is now the first state on the East Coast to allow recreational marijuana sales. Starting today, tens of millions of adult consumers, including those in New York City, are within a 3-hour drive to a pot shop. Tony DeCopel is in Northampton, Massachusetts, outside one of the 2 stores opening in the state today. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Well, it is cold, it is wet, it is rainy, and marijuana is still very much illegal at a federal level, but take a look at that. Those people have been building in that line since around midnight. They're hoping to make some of the first purchases in this state since 100 years ago when marijuana was prohibited, and you will never guess who the very first person is in line.
It's another morning of long lines.
I wanted to be the first person to buy weed east of the Mississippi.
For a drug that's come a long way.
I've been waiting 38 years for this.
And first in line, David Narkowitz, the mayor of Northampton.
Is it only a symbolic purchase, or will it be consumed as well?
Actually, people have asked me about that, and I am actually going to probably preserve it and display it because it is historically significant.
Massachusetts is the 7th state to open retail marijuana shops, but the first to open them east of the Mississippi. And it comes as the cannabis industry celebrates a series of new highs. Earlier this month, Michigan became the first Midwestern state to approve recreational cannabis, joining 10 other states and Washington, D.C. And in October, our neighbors to the north, Canada, became the first major world economy to legalize recreational marijuana. But the steady march of marijuana legalization has Dr. Sharon Levy concerned. She runs the Adolescent Substance Use and Addiction Program at Boston Children's Hospital.
Instead of saying, well, we'll assume these things are safe until they're proven harmful, maybe we should be saying, these things might be harmful until they're proven safe. I don't think that that's something we've done a very good job with.
We've been preparing for adult use sales for many, many months now.
Amanda Rosatano is the Director of Operational Compliance for New England Treatment Access, or NETA, which as of today sells a range of cannabis products, including pre-rolled joints, loose buds, oils, and edibles, to anyone over the age of 21.
Do you think dependence could be an issue for anybody?
So, I mean, I think dependence could be an issue, just like dependence could be an issue when it comes to ice cream. We will advocate using moderation, educate people about cannabis.
Under Massachusetts law, retail shops can sell each customer no more than an ounce of flour or 20 servings of edibles, both in child-resistant packaging. For now, those restrictions and others are good enough for Mayor Narkowitz.
There has been marijuana use going on in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for a long, long time. What's changing is it's now being regulated, it's now being tested, it's now being strictly monitored. That's really the major change that's happening.
And speaking of change, voters here in Massachusetts actually legalized marijuana more than 2 years ago, but it took that long for regulations to be put in place and for shops like this to meet those regulations. Still, the pace of change can be surprising to some people. My own father, believe it or not, stood federal trial for marijuana smuggling in this very state. Today, he feels vindicated, but he can't really handle this new stuff, Gail. He says it's too strong.
All right, Mr. DeCopel, ahead of his time. Hey, Tony, I love the question to Narkowitz, grade 9.
In other words, if you guys saw that map, it showed you 10 states in America that's legalized, but they don't include DC as the 11th, you can say, province. And so DC is pretty close, right? And I was actually watching another video that said that they don't have any pot shops, they call it, in DC, so you can't legally buy marijuana. And just to be clear, this type of buying marijuana is for recreational, okay? So that means that it's just for fun. Where the other side of it is medicinal, which is medicine. So there's other people who have doctor notes to use marijuana for their body because they need it for like pain or anxiety, whatever. But this is talking about recreational, which is just for fun. So for fun marijuana. And so DC, it's legal to smoke it in DC, wherever you want. But right now in DC, I think they're still switching over to have actual marijuana shops. So then now they're gonna start selling it in DC as well. In other words, that's pretty close to us here as well, right? So just a reality check for us that it's not something far off away in 10 different states in Canada, but actually it's in your backyard in DC. Because think about it, how many of your friends, how many people you know go to DC?
For what?
Right? Exactly. So if people go to DC, right, they're gonna be like, oh, I get to see White House, I get to see Abraham Lincoln sitting on a chair, and I get to smoke pot. Great, let's go to DC, right? And so just something for you to think about as well, about the legalization of recreational marijuana, okay? But with that being said, if you guys haven't noticed from all these videos we watched, there is a reason why people drink and why people smoke marijuana or vape, okay? And based off of the videos, this is what I got from it, okay? The first one was status. So the one with Shazam, you guys were mentioning it. He's a 14-year-old in a adult male body, and he's gonna go use that body to buy alcohol. Why? Because he thinks that's what it means to be an adult. It's for status. What does it mean to be an adult? Oh, that means I can smoke, I can drink. And so when this guy, 14, living in a man's body, he finally gets the chance to do it, he does it. Because he said, well, I'm a man now. At least physically, but mentally I'm not. But I'm a man now. Therefore, that means I should go drink. Therefore, that means I should go show and prove that I'm a man, verify it by drinking alcohol. And what did he do in the end? He spit it out. And I know when you guys tried the non-alcoholic one, some of you wanted to spit it out, right? I can tell by your face. So secondly, the other video, when the I Like Beer commercial, right? Where everyone's like riding bikes and swimming, right? And everyone's like in the bar, like, yeah, singing and stuff. So that one is showing you that, guys, when you drink beer, it's fun. Okay? I like beer. Like you make a song about it. You can ride bikes together. You can sing while you're swimming underwater about beer. It's fun. So when you drink beer, not only is drinking beer status, not only is drinking beer showing that you're an adult, that you're mature, but the way that people advertise it is that it's fun. So therefore, drink beer so it can be fun, so you can have a fun time, so you can relax, so you can do all these things that you might not have been able to do before. And thirdly, the third commercial we saw was the one with a lot of the fitness instructors and his crew, right, working out together and saying that after you work out, what do you do after that? You
Drink
go
beer.
and bond. Yes, you go drink beer at the bar, because that's how you bond. In other words, what they're trying to tell you is when you drink beer, it's for your social life and it's for your community. So that means that when we gather together, when we are all here together, what do? We drink beer. Because that's what it means to be together. That's what it means to, come together, that we can drink together and, have fun and say that we're adults, mature, responsible, and socialized. So that's what that commercial was saying, okay? But I want to add a fourth one as well, primarily for both of them, alcohol and drugs. But this fourth one, I think, is probably one that is probably the most intimidating to admit, especially in our society today, where weakness is viewed as bad. In other words, from my experience and the people that I've talked to, they drink beer because they want to escape. Or they smoke marijuana or vape because they want to escape.
Escape what?
Right, that's a good question.
Life.
So escape what? Well, what else? What is there to escape? The world for one, but I think most importantly, your life. For example, and again, I know I might be treading on thin ice here, and I want to be careful here because I don't know who knows people of this background or who struggles with alcoholism or anything like that. Okay, but to say it simply is that many people do drink alcohol or do drugs because they want to run away from their problems in life. Okay, they want to block it out. They want to ignore it. But the only way to do that is if all of those abilities are blocked. Not by their willpower, but by something else, by a substance, such as alcohol or drugs. Again, this is generalization, okay? But if we are honest with ourselves in your own life, right? Just think about how stressed you are with school, with your family, with your friends, how lonely you might feel, because you might not feel like you have community, right? Or how other people view you, like, oh, you're just a little kid, right? Well, what if I could only just do something that will show people that, hey, I'm not just a little kid. Hey, I'm a very likable person. What if I can just do something that will show that? And in this case, according to the commercials, is beer, drinking alcohol. And again, I'll highlight this again, but the escape, I think, is probably one of the most important factors. Because whether or not we admit it in our lives, there are many things in our lives that we would rather ignore, that we would rather not think about. So if you had something to help you not think about it, why not? This could be the thinking of some people of why they use drugs and alcohol, to escape. But of course, if you didn't know, once you start drinking or doing drugs, eventually you're going to need more and more, right? To reach the next high, to reach the next buzz, you need more and more. It doesn't just stop at 1 bottle or 2 bottles or 1 or 2 joints. You have to keep going in order to reach that same high. And if you keep going down that path, well, what's going to be at the end of the road? Addiction. But the point is, they're running away from something. All right? Keep that in mind. They're running away from something. We're going to come back to that. But before we do that, just like last week, I want to be clear for all of us here. I want to show us, okay, as people who say, if you say you follow God, if you say you believe in Jesus Christ, this is our position, okay? We're going to go through that. But first, we're going to go through what are Christians not, okay? We need to be clear here. If you are a Christian, this is what we are not, okay? And if you don't know this and you're just learning this for the first time, that's fine. But keep this in mind, okay? So first things first. We are not this. What do you see in this picture?
Beer.
Someone holding
Okay, what else?
beer.
Someone?
It holding cigarettes.
Okay. Who's that person?
I mean, I didn't know he
That's
had a
a
mustache.
I think that's Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. See, Nathan got it. So in this picture, it's supposed to be Jesus Christ, right? But obviously someone put a can of Blue Ribbon, in other words, beer, in his hand, and I'm assuming weed in his other hand, okay? So this is what Christians are not. Okay, this means that if you are a Christian, we are not, you can say like impulsively and totally for drinking and smoking. Alright? Now obviously this picture shows you a different story, which is why I used it. Because this is what we are not. Okay? In other words, we're saying that as people who follow Jesus Christ, we do not endorse and we do not encourage other people to say, hey, yeah, I'm a Christian, drink beer. Hey, I'm a Christian, smoke some weed, do some vape. All right? That's what we are not. Got it? But what else are we not? So if you can see this picture, this is one end of the spectrum, right? Because this is saying that, oh, Christians, like if Jesus is doing it in this picture, that means that all Christians can do it. That means it's okay for everyone, right? So this is one side of the story. So what's the other side of the story? We are not this. So if you don't know what this picture is, this is when Jesus was giving
Passover?
Yeah, the Passover. When Jesus, good job. So when Jesus was giving the Last Supper, the Passover, and you had to break bread and drink wine. Okay, so obviously the disciples like, Jesus, that's grape juice, right?
Wait, did he actually say that?
No.
That's the point. And so obviously when this disciple says that, what's he saying? He's saying that Jesus, you wouldn't actually give me wine because wine has alcohol in it. So that's grape juice, right? It's just sugar in water, right? Colored sugar water.
Yeah, sugar water.
So obviously this picture is telling us that if you are a Christian, you should not drink. Okay? This is what the picture is saying. Alright? And this is what I'm saying as well. We are not this either. Okay? As Christians, what does it mean to be a Christian? What does it mean to follow God? The way that I grew up, it meant that you don't drink. Think about that.
So you never drank anything?
Yes, and once you do, you're not a Christian anymore.
You mean like this? You can drink this, right?
Yes, but nothing alcoholic. And that was how I grew up thinking. And that's what I was taught, okay? But I want to show all you guys here today that that's not what it means to be a Christian. Okay? Just because I drink alcohol or I don't drink alcohol or I smoke weed or I don't smoke weed, I vape or I don't vape, that doesn't determine if I'm a Christian. Alright? We've got to be clear about this. Because there are people today that says if you drink alcohol or if you smoke marijuana or you vape or even like if you smoke tobacco, you're not a Christian. There are people who say that. Okay? But I want to be clear for us that that's not what it makes us to be people who follow God. Okay? As people who, if you truly believe in God and follow Christ, you're not restricted by what you can and can't do, okay? That's not what it means to be a Christian. If anything, Christians are the most free. Think about that. Christians are the most free people. Because they have a choice, they have an option. Whereas other people might not feel like they have the option or choice. They feel like, I have to do this. I have to do that to escape from my problems. I have to do this to have fun. I have to do this to have community. But we as Christians, we have the freedom of choice in Christ. We can say, actually, we don't have to do that to have fun. We don't have to do that to do community. We have that choice. Alright? So this is what we are not, okay? So to be clear, this is what we can be, okay? We can be medicinal users of marijuana, which means for medical reasons, like joint problems, arthritis, whatever. Secondly, what's that?
You can use that?
Well, if it's prescribed by your doctor, for medical reasons, because
How does it do that?
Because they give you a certain amount, but it depends on the certain type of disease you have.
It relieves pain.
How?
So when you smoke marijuana, yeah, it numbs, it blocks some of your pain receptors, so you can't. The pain is still there, but you can't feel it.
Why don't you just take painkillers?
Because those are dangerous.
Yes, well that too. But it also depends on, again, the type of disease. And marijuana supposedly is more natural, whereas painkillers are more made in a factory. So they're more dangerous in that sense. So.
And also you might get addicted to painkillers.
That too, the opioid crisis.
You can?
Yeah. You can get addicted to anything.
Have you
You
never?
learn something every day.
You can get addicted to anything, really.
Never heard? Oh,
No.
Yeah. So Christians can be medicinal users, okay? Keyword medicinal, right? Secondly, as if you say you follow God and follow Christ, we can be responsible, keyword moderate alcoholic consumers. In other words, alcohol is not inherently sinful. Alcohol is not inherently sinful. What that means is, when I look at this little beverage, it's like, oh, that's what sin looks like. No, that's not what sin looks like. Because there's nothing in alcohol that says that it's sin, okay? That's just the way people are projecting their own meaning onto it.
It's like,
All right.
we hate you.
Right, so with that being said, again, be clear. Alcohol is not inherently sinful, okay? But again, Christians can be responsible, moderate drinkers. Keyword responsible, moderate, all right? Not excessive, moderate. But to be clear, that you know this is not just coming from Fong, sitting in a chair thinking about life, but this is also to show you that alcohol is mentioned in the Bible. This is just a couple instances. There's a lot of times. But I just want to show you these two, okay? So the first one is John 2, when Jesus turns water into wine. I hear this so many times, okay? People are like, especially the way I grew up, people are like, why can't I drink? Jesus drank wine, right? Like read John 2. He's at the wedding, and then his mom...
And there's no more wine, and
Yeah.
then creates wine.
See, Nathan knows the story. And then, there's no more wine at a wedding, and that's not good. So Jesus' mom is like, hey, can you make some wine?
Sure.
And he does. All right? So just to let you know, alcohol, in this case wine, is in the Bible. Okay? In the story at least. And secondly, drink wine for health reasons. So in 1 Timothy chapter 5, actually, when Apostle Paul was writing the letter to Timothy, and he told Timothy, at the end of the letter, he told Timothy, hey Timothy, take this good advice, drink some wine to help with your stomach or like your tension, whatever. So he also prescribed a little bit of wine for Timothy to drink. Again, this is Apostle Paul. If Paul was against wine and Christians don't drink, why would Paul tell his disciples to drink wine? It doesn't make sense. So in other words, this is to just show you that this is mentioned in the Bible. Okay? But this doesn't tell you whether as believers we should drink or not drink. It just tells you it's mentioned. So I'm going to go a bit deeper into the biblical perspective. Alright? So first things first. There's a lot here, but we're not going to look at it all. Okay? But just to be clear, okay, the Bible, God's Word tells us that drunkenness is a sin. Alright? It doesn't say the simple act of bringing this cup filled with alcoholic beverage to your lips and the taste of your tongue is sin. No, it doesn't say that. Okay? It says drunkenness. Which means if you get plastered, if you get wasted, if you can't even remember yesterday, if you get this huge migraine, you feel like you're going to die, yeah, that's because you sinned. That's because you were drunk. You're so drunk yesterday, you don't even remember what happened. All right? That is a sin. And later we're going to go back and talk about why that is the case, okay? But to be clear, being drunk is a sin. All right? Not the simple act of drinking alcohol, but indulging in alcohol. Secondly, sensuality. Sensuality is kind of like when you care so much about the physical pleasures. And I'll skip this one for now because we're going to come back to it a little bit. And thirdly, this one's very important. Okay? This one is do not cause others to doubt or lose faith. Romans 13 and 1 Corinthians 8 and 10. So what this means is if you say you follow God, if you say you follow Jesus Christ, everything we do in this life, when we're Christians, is for the benefit of everyone else. I'm going to say that again, okay? If you truly follow God, if you truly say you follow Jesus Christ, the Son of God, everything we do in this life is for the benefit of everyone else. Which means that I will take care of your needs and you will take care of my needs. Does that make sense? But the reason why that is because, so in this case, alcohol or smoking marijuana or vaping, okay? If you do any of these things, for whatever reason, if you do any of these things and you say you're a Christian and you do these things, and then another Christian sees you, and because they see you doing that, they might think, oh, because this person's doing it, and I think that person has strong faith, and they're doing it, that means I can do it. But the problem is, I might have a weak faith. Okay, I might be more prone. I might be more probable to give into drunkenness. But if you as a Christian are showing me that example, then you're not watching out for my needs. and my own weaknesses as well. And I have to watch out for yours because we got to back each other up and help each other. So that's when it becomes a sin in that sense. And this is not just drinking and drugs, this is anything. Okay? Anything we do, if it causes someone else to doubt God or causes someone else to lose faith or walk away from God because you did it, it's also on you. Alright? So 3 basic things. And I'm just going to focus on 1 or 2 things, okay? But before we do that, Michelle, can you use your Bible again?